Have you ever played Truth or Dare? In this game, there is no truth. A shy girl tried to play, but things crossed all boundaries. V. Delmonico is a high school student living in Staten Island. She received an email from the California Institute of the Arts. She has been accepted, but is worried about leaving her mother alone. While writing the rejection email, V receives a Facebook notification from her crush, JP, who tagged her in a photo she took. V receives a Skype chat invitation from her friend Sydney. Sid mentions a game called Nerve. The game involves watchers and players. Players are given dares to do in exchange for money, while watchers pay to watch it all happen. Sid has agreed to play and encourages V to join her, but she is a skeptic. V's mother calls her to breakfast and suggests that she find a college close to home so they can stay together. There's something I haven't told you. It's been years since V's brother died, and neither of them has really gotten over it. V suggests finding a roommate for her brother's room so they can earn some money, but her mother disagrees. At school, V takes pictures for the yearbook, but most are pictures of JP. As the football team is taking the field, Sid and the other cheerleaders are in the center of attention. In fact, Sid was already playing Nerve, and her challenge was to show everyone her butt. Sid gives one of her friends her phone to record her challenge. Along with Sid, many other people in the city were completing different challenges for money. The more viewers you get, the higher you go up the leaderboard and the more money you make. V, along with her friends, go out to eat, and an argument arises between her and Sid. V thinks that the game is dumb, while Sid thinks that V is just too shy and scared to play. V doesn't consider herself shy at all, so Sid challenges her to go talk to JP. V refuses, and at that point, Sid gets up and approaches JP. She asks him if he would be interested in going out with V. He looks at V, and she awkwardly waves at him, but JP says she's not his type. Upset, V leaves and goes home. Upon arriving home, she logs on to Nerve. The rules are very simple. Challenges must be recorded on players' phones, and if they back out or fail, they lose their money. Also, no one can snitch on Nerve, or it will end very badly. V decides to become a player. Immediately, Nerve starts getting all of V's personal information. V calls Tommy to take her to a diner for her first challenge. Tommy reveals to her that someone died playing Nerve, but V doesn't believe it. V gets her first challenge. She must kiss a stranger for 5 seconds to get $100. The clock is ticking as she hesitates to choose someone. She sees a dude named Ian reading her favorite book. V approaches and starts talking about the book, then instantly kisses Ian. Meanwhile, Tommy records the scene. The challenge is over. V immediately goes to Tommy, who is annoyed as he secretly loves her. When she turns around, Ian is gone. He is then seen walking around the diner singing and putting on a great performance as part of his challenge. He goes to V's table and reveals to her that an unknown guy had given him V's favorite book. Since Nerve now knows all about V, I don't think this is a coincidence. Then Ian gets up to leave, but a new challenge stops him. He has to team up with V and take her downtown. Tommy tries to convince her to stay, but V, though uncertain at first, joins Ian on his bike, leaving Tommy behind. As V and Ian are reaching their destination, Sid learns that she has joined the game. The duo reaches the dress store. As Ian walks away, V gets a new challenge. She has to try on a very expensive dress. The challenge doesn't seem very difficult, and V enters the store. Meanwhile, V's mother receives notifications from her bank. Someone is depositing the money V won. The girl finds the dress and asks for one. There are 30 seconds left, and V hurries to put the dress on. She manages to get dressed on time, but the app seems to lag. As she looks in the mirror, Ian, who had done the same challenge, pops up behind her. Ian is charmed to see her in this dress, but more charmed is only Tommy, who is watching all of this for $20 a day. When they return to their dressing rooms, they find that all their stuff is gone. The next challenge for both of them is to leave the store. At this point, they take off their clothes and leave in their underwear. As they run, a group of watchers records them leaving. Once outside, they find the clothes from the store on Ian's bike. The challenge is complete, and V receives a $2,500 prize. Their phones ring for the next challenge. Ian and V must go to another destination. In the process, her friend Sid learns that V is already in the top 10. Sid has underestimated V and is now worried that she will be overtaken by the shy, insecure girl. So Sid calls Tommy to suggest that they stop V. V and Ian go to a tattoo parlor. V is challenged to get a tattoo chosen by Ian. Ian draws a secret tattoo and shows it to the tattoo artist. It turns out to be a lighthouse as a nod to her favorite book. In the process, V and Ian's viewership increases, and they end up overtaking Sid on the leaderboard. Tommy gets in touch with his hacker friend Azar and asks for access to Aruba, a site for buying illegal things and finding the information you can't Google. Azar thinks it's risky, but sends him a code to access the Aruba site. Tommy discovers past videos of Ian playing Nerve a year earlier. He stole the bike and was hanging from a crane with 2 other guys. Meanwhile, V and Ian receive a new challenge: reach 60 miles per hour on the bike blindfolded. V doesn't even think about it, and as he is about to leave, another player approaches and hands V a sticker to stick on the helmet of the bike. He greets Ian, but the latter says he doesn't know him. Ian asks V to be his eyes. Finally, he manages to persuade her, and V gets on the motorcycle with Ian. Sid, during a party, learns of this challenge, and they all get to watch the dare. The first few moments are the most difficult, because V is unable to point Ian in the right direction. Then she realizes that the only solution is to hug him and lean him left or right. They reach 30 miles per hour, but there is only 1 minute left. They almost die after passing a red light, but shortly afterward, they manage to reach 60 miles per hour in the last seconds. Excitedly, they get off the bike and start kissing. Seeing all this, Sid asks his followers for an extreme challenge so she can get to the top of the leaderboard. Soon after, Ty, the guy who brought the sticker to V, enters the room. Ty proposes to Sid to team up, but she says she's not a team player. All this time, V's mother continues to receive money in her bank account. Since V doesn't return her calls, she asks Tommy to ask for an explanation. Tommy lies, saying that V plays online poker. Back to V, we can see her riding a carousel with Ian. They start talking about their problems, and V said she joined Nerve to get Sid off her back. She states that Sid always makes her look insecure, when it is really Sid who is insecure. She also talked about how Sid changes boys like socks. All of these things are filmed, and everyone at the party hears them. Ian receives a notification with a new challenge, but hides it from V. So he proposes that she go to the party where Sid was. In the process, Sid gets drunk and receives the big challenge. Sid has to cross the staircase from one apartment to another. It is especially terrifying for her because she is afraid of heights. After getting halfway across, Sid slips and drops her phone, so she's out of the game. Along with her, everyone who can't complete the challenges is thrown out of the game. V and Ian arrive at the party. V discovers that Sid is making out with JP. Sid takes the opportunity to call V out on what she said, leading to a huge fight between them. Amid the argument, V is challenged to finish Sid's challenge. V then humiliates Sid and completes the challenge by crossing the ladder almost effortlessly. Later, Tommy stops V to reveal to her that Ian's challenge was to get V and Sid into a fight. The girl runs away, and Ian tries to stop her to explain everything. Irritated, V decides to tell everything to the police. Ian runs after her and begs her not to, but she doesn't listen. V sees a policeman and tells him about Nerve, but he does nothing. V's mother notices that all the money in the bank account is gone and immediately calls V. While talking on the phone, V runs into Ty, who says he needs to win the game and knocks her out. V wakes up in a shipping container. A TV in the container turns on, and a robotic voice tells V that because she snitched, Nerve now controls her life, her family, and her future. The only way for her to escape is to win the game. She exits the container and is told to get on the ferry. She runs into Ian, who explains that, like him, she is now a prisoner of the game. For Ian, it happened a year earlier when he, Ty, and a third boy named Robbie were challenged to hang from a crane. Robbie slipped and fell, dying. Ian and Ty went to the police, but Nerve ruined their lives. Ian says he will help her win the final so she can get out of the game for good. V meets with Tommy and Sid, and she reconciles with both of them. Since Tommy is a hacker, V asks him to stop the game. The simp agrees and asks his hacker friends for help. Meanwhile, Ian accepts a challenge where he has to hang from a crane with one hand for 5 seconds. He succeeds and moves on to the finals. V's challenge is to walk across town to pick up a package. V notices a guy in a mask leaving the package near a policeman. The girl walks by him and picks up the package, which turns out to be a loaded gun. She will need the gun to move on to the next phase and enter the arena. Ian also reaches the arena, and the two of them find themselves in front of over 100 observers. As Tommy tries to hack into Nerve's server, V's mother joins them. The challenge involves V and Ian having to shoot each other. Ian tells V to shoot him so she can win, but she refuses. The two finalists are joined by Ty, who says he will shoot one of them. The observers cheer him on, and V calls out everyone for wanting to see someone die for the sake of their entertainment. At this point, V taunts him and challenges him to shoot her. Nerve then decides to put V's life to a vote. The majority votes to have her shot. Ty fires the gun, and V falls into Ian's arms. Just at this time, Tommy and his friends have managed to hack into Nerve's servers. Each watcher then has their names exposed and a message informing them that they are complicit in the murder, with the option to log out. All of the people log off, allowing Azar to crash Nerve's server and shut it down for good. V then reveals that she was alive, having organized the whole thing with Ty involved. Everything returns to normal, and Azar makes sure that V and her mother get their money. V and Ian share a kiss as the sun rises on a new day. Then V attends the university of her dreams, and together with Ian, they decide to embark on a relationship. Click here to find out how a teen tried to seduce a MILF in his city.